Yes, it's you, dear Cancer. This is your reading. It's you, Cancer, from Tarot Lumination about love and relationship for July 2017. So you might have figured, Cancer, that this is sort of your time, your month. We don't know how it's going to play out, but the lights are on you. You got Sun, Mercury, Moon, Mars, all flying around right now. And then it's going to be a full moon around the 9th. So you're going to feel that, Cancer. Ha 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 ha. And Cancer, you're one of the cardinal signs. So again, you're going to feel that too because of that big fat freaking T-square bearing down. And, with the, Pluto and Capricorn on the other side of you and Jupiter and Libra in the middle at the axis. So if that sounded like astrobabble to you, that's what it is. So anyway, we're doing tarot. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Okay. Also invite you to watch the little introduction video for the whole playlist and also to watch the behind the scenes little video for the whole playlist because that'll take you even deeper inside the way these readings are and why they are the way they are. And hopefully you might understand them better. And if it doesn't make any sense, again, read for sun and moon and rising and squish it all together. See if that makes sense. So also with these readings, these are done from the perspective of there's significant energy between yourself and another. It isn't just random hookups and things. These are chosen relationships. Where it's happened. It isn't just happening by like just by stumbling along. You put some thought and energy into this stuff. Okay. So please allow for that. So in the context of a chosen relationship, to some degree or another, we are building a crucible. And a crucible is a very powerful container that is able to withstand intense pressure, the sort of pressures that occur under the conditions of, let's say, marriage or living together or something like that, where it's very closely combined and merged with another. And it isn't all about just what can you get from them, what can they get from you. It's very much about the relationship, where it's understood that the relationship has an identity, meaning, mission, and purpose of its own, into which both parties are invested, hopefully. Well, we'll see. So just give me a couple more seconds here. I need a little bit more. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals, no oracles. Sorry, this is just stripped down, bare bone tarot. Now we're going to cut for you, dear Cancer. And we're just going to go from there. So let's just see what happens, okay? Remember, this is just for July. Everything's going to change at the end of the month when all that Leo August energy comes in. So we'll see. Let's say this is your energy, okay? Let's say this is a significant other. This is going deeper, deeper, deeper into you, deeper, deeper, and deeper into another. And this is the status, let's say, of the relationship itself, okay? Neither you nor the other, but the relationship itself, okay? And the momentum coming out of this, okay? Now also, I like to add the little bit of like support weather, even if it's not pretty, it's like what I think of as a weather condition, so you just have to make the best of it anyway. So that would be, in this little reading, that would be the bottom card. So this is the crucible, the container in which the relationship is conducted. That's your energy, that's the other energy. So what have we got? Okay, this is very strong, significant energy here, Cancer. I don't know if you're getting the feeling that you're empowered or you're feeling empowered, or this relationship is making you feel empowered, or that you have a chance to, like, say, tune into your true self, where you can rise up to the maximum level of your identity. You know, when all this energy right now in July is happening, it's right on the nose for you, Cancer, which is all about like the self, the identity. And so there, it's very strong energy with Mars and Cancer there, even though Mars is not very comfortable in the sign of Cancer. It's a bit like the energy of like, hurry up and wait, because Cancerians are much more concerned about safety, security in the home, and comfort, and being safe and nurturing and being nurtured, rather than being out there charging into the world, doing this and doing that and doing that, okay? So it's a little bit of a contradictory type of energy, but either way, there's a lot of light on you right now, dear Cancer, which might be triggering a sensation that, whoa, this is very empowering. It might be a little bit dizzying because it's enough power where you could feel like, can I handle this? Or maybe this is too much. Am I being overpowered? In other words, is the whole energy of, let's say, fatedness of the relationship feeling overpowering? Can you handle it, dear Cancer? It's very, very strong energy. Whether you're male or female watching this, doesn't matter. It's the energy of power. That's why I'm talking about it in terms of power rather than the dude here, this emperor boss. Because the emperor is the energy of like supreme leadership and rulership over their dominion, and what is best for them and their world, their empire, so to speak. But the thing is that with this much power comes a lot of responsibility. So the question is, let's say it's very beneficial and supportive energy, but that's a lot of power. So what are you going to do with it? We're going to figure it out. Let's go through the month. Let's have a look. Let's say, what's going on with you, Cancer? Okay, so you might be getting what you wished for. Doopy 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 doo. Maybe you're feeling good about this relationship. Maybe you feel as though like there's something that makes you feel, almost cocky, like, ha ha ha, look what I got. Look what's happening to me. Woo! Lucky, lucky, lucky me. And so that's very nice, but it is a little bit self-centered in some ways. In other words, you might just be gloating and wallowing in the potential that might work out for you. So my perspective as your reader, dear Cancer, is to remind you this relationship isn't just all about you and your happiness. It is a relationship, and it does involve a significant other. Now, if you are single, and please understand that this reading can still apply, because we radiate the energy of relationship anyway. And even if you don't have a significant other right here, right now, the energy that you radiate through the law of attraction is attracting that which is appropriate, whether you like it or know it or need it or not. It's there, and that can easily be reflected in these cards over here of a significant other. So, okay, so good for you, Cancer. Wow. Okay, wow. Okay. Now, the question is, I hope we're going to share this love. This is a lot of happiness, happy, happy, happy love energy. So you might be feeling very loving. You might be feeling very loved. And that just makes you feel almost giddy. Like, wow, it's a wish come true. Okay, but let's not let this go to our heads, okay, Cancer? There's so much Cancerian energy in the charts and the planets right now. So it might almost be complete overload. So let's take it easy here. What's going on with another? Okay, they might be feeling something quite different. So inside of a significant other, they might be feeling like, what's going on here? Where is this taking me? There has been perhaps a lot of emotional turbulence in a significant relationship. And the question is, what do we do now? Not what do we do now, it's this is the significant other. Let's keep this distinct. This would be you, dear Cancer. This would be a significant other, where inside of the significant other, they would be going through a lot of figuring out about what to do with this situation in this particular relationship. In other words, you might be just over the moon about what's happening, but they might see things from a very different perspective. Like, where is this taking me? Where is this somewhere that I really want to go? Am I moving on? Does this mean I'm moving on from where I am now to where I need to be? We don't know yet, because for the significant other, this could indicate that they might be having to leave something behind that was, let's say, with all this emotional water energy here, could be, let's say, historic, or could be the energy of legacy, or what would have happened on, let's say, what's the word for it? Not autopilot, but just circumstantial, like circumstantial life, circumstantial worlds that would relate to the past. And then up ahead is a whole new horizon. And so the other party might be considering, like, what is going on? Am I in a situation where I'm going to have to leave something behind and move forward to somewhere else? And is that in the context of a relationship, in particular, this significant relationship? So there's definitely the energy of advancing and moving on for this significant other Cancer. But please understand that they are having a very different experience from you. Okay, this is their energy. Okay, whether they are expressing this openly or not, it doesn't even matter. This is the energy of the consideration of moving on, having to move on, or desiring to move on. It could be any of those. It could be a desire to leave the past behind and move on into a brand new future, taking everything that's good, all the wisdom, all the learnings, all the everything that is of value in terms of the understandings of life, bringing that forward, just pack it all up and move on into a whole new world. So that could be happening. But up in this new world, there could, see, this is an intellectual process, so there could be that the significant other is doing a lot of figuring, so to speak. And they are sensing like a new kind of serenity that lies ahead for whatever might have been in the past that, you know, for whatever reason, it's like history. It needs to be gently and gracefully released, so to speak, so that this significant other can move on with their life. Now, that could be them in their life. Maybe they are considering this in the context of a significant relationship, or they might be just very focusing heavily on themselves in the context of the relationship. But either way, this is their energy, okay? So let's just allow for that. So let's just go back to here. Back to here again. Remember this energy. There's a lot of, let's say, potential going on here where things could feel very empowering for you. But the question is that good for the other party? We don't know that yet. We're going to go in and look a little bit deeper. And also because there's so much power, like in that's happening in the crucible at the moment, we don't know where this is going to go. Perhaps they're considering walking away and moving on completely and abandoning this whole relationship thing altogether, even though you feel good about it. We don't know yet. This is a lot of thought here. This is a lot of thinking going on here. So let's go deeper inside of you, Cancer. What do we feel here? Okay, pure love, pure, true love. This is the real deal. And it's not like it's in question or anything. It's fact. This is just very, very simple. It's very, very pure. It's what 90% or 99% of the planet would wish for and dream for. And somehow or other, Cancer, you got lucky. Somehow or other, you're in the right place at the right time with your own energy in a situation or in a relationship dynamic which has the potential to radiate love in its like most pure, uninfringed form, something that's like innocent, and it cannot be corrupted because it's from the heart and it's from the soul. It's not conditional, nothing. Okay, it's very sweet, it's very innocent, and very, very pure, uncontaminated. So that's very, very nice to have for you deep inside. Now, Cancer, if this is your wish, if you're wishing for this, it's like, oh my God, I hope this is real. I hope this is for real. Oh, this is what I've always wanted. I know it's true. I think it could be true. Oh, the little two of cups, like the ultimate love card. Woo, wow, this could like be really, really, really good for news for me, Cancer. However, for the other party, it's a very different sensation. They may be very completely and utterly fully aware of this energy in you and that it exists in the context of the relationship and that this is almost like your wish and dream come true. But the question is, it's putting a significant other in a very, very, let's say, intellectually puzzling and challenging position where they have to do a lot of consideration about how to move on with this. What is the because it's about evolution, it's about advancing, and it's about moving on as far as they're concerned. But how does that actually play out? Move on from what? Move on to where? Move on from who? Move on to with whom? Things like that. But either way, it's being done in a very, very well thought out, very methodical manner, very well considered, very respectful of you, dear Cancer, and the relationship and the energy of pure love that exists in the relationship. So that's, that's pretty good news for you, Cancer. That's like, we don't know what's actually going on, but it's like there's something going on here, Cancer, and it involves, it's very, very pure. It's very, very pure. So Cancer, you're lucky in that regard. Let's have a look deeper on what's going inside of them. Whoa. Wow. So Cancer, this could be in a very, very discreet way, because this is deeply hidden or fairly deeply hidden. It could be overt, but my feeling right now with this relationship, because of this opening energy here of empowerment, where the relationship itself is being blessed by the feeling of like coming into power. So the relationship could be very, very empowering for both parties, for yourself and another. But the question is, how does that manifest? Okay, it could be that you have a significant other who's going through some very challenging decisions about what to do and how to do it in order to move on to the better place that they know that they deserve, which would be in the so-called future, where this would be considered over here the so-called past. But this is being lived through the experience of now, right now, in and through July. So that there's an energy of movement and moving on. Now, going deeper inside the other, that might resonate to them that this is exactly how it should be. This is just the inevitable just happening. In other words, they may be very well aware that the Two of Cups exists in the relationship, because you might be carrying that energy inside of you fundamentally. This might be your just natural state of being, which is very lucky for you, Cancer, and it's just permeating through the relationship. And they understand that, but that's putting them in a very awkward position, because then they have to figure out, how am I going to reconfigure things? How am I going to like fix my attitudes? And like they could be wrestling with a lot of things like subconscious programming, pre-existing thoughts and attitudes and beliefs that could have been fine at one time, but not so useful now. And so the other party has to go through a lot of self-refining in order to pick out the things that are actually useful and working in the context of now, in the context of a potentially wonderful relationship, and see where it goes. And deep inside, they might be feeling that this is exactly how things should be, and everything is coming to this sense of completion. In other words, like all the pieces of the puzzle are fitting together. Even though they're actually in the process of figuring out the puzzle, they're actually living through the experience of figuring out the puzzle. Deep down, somewhere, somehow, they understand that all the pieces fit together in a sort of beautiful harmonic union, like a perfect jigsaw puzzle, where the final pieces are coming into play, but they're not there yet, okay? That's how I'm feeling this for you, dear Cancer, is that they are aware, the significant other is aware of what's going on here. Like, these are very, very different cards, very, very different energies, and the relationship is being perceived from very different perspectives by yourself and another party, although it is in the context of what appears to be a potentially very loving relationship. We'll see. We still have a little ways to go here. So with this energy of the World card, it also could be very, very scary, because it can also feel like for the other party that things have come to a completion. Now, it could indicate perhaps everything that's here, from which they are moving on, is now come to a completion. It's utter fulfillment. There's like it's the end of a chapter. It's not just the end of a chapter, it's the end of a whole book. It's the end of the whole book of life, so to speak. And it's perfect. It's absolutely beautiful and it's perfect, but it's time to start to move on to a whole other new book of life, which would be like the Fool card, if we had the Fool card, for example, so that this process can occur again. Like, it's almost like it's very beautiful here. Like when you put the World card here next to the emotional aspects here of what might be the historical part of their life, and you start to look forward and they're figuring out what to do and they look into the future of their life, there is a beautiful sense of harmonic balance and completion, even though it might be surrendering and letting go of something in order to move on to something new. We don't know that, okay? That's their experience. That's their energy. You're honoring and living your energy. They are honoring and living their energy in the context of a significant relationship that has structure, and it seems to have the chance to be very self-empowering for both parties. Okay, not just you, but it's a mutually self-empowering, but it's happening in very different ways for each party. Like two very different people that happen to be very, very complementary when you put them in a relationship, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's have a look. Let's just go a little bit deeper. Let's look at the status. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to mention something. With the little Two of Cups here, because it's so pure, what can often happen is that it just happens anyway, where, because it's so pure, it's almost impossible to, let's say you get to the point of, like, there's no Pentacles cards here of manifestation or anything, but let's say things start to evolve where the Two of Cups energy actually starts to permeate through the whole relationship, and it becomes so reciprocal. You get to the point where it isn't just like this. It's like everything becomes like this, where the two become indistinguishable, completely indistinguishable. It all becomes one thing. And that's very, very beautiful, but it can also be very disorienting if you're not used to that energy. And it might be that the other party is still trying to understand and comprehend what's happening. You might be okay with it because you might have already got this feeling that this could possibly happen, could exist, but still allowing it to happen is another thing, because we are still, no matter how much fate might be smiling on things, and the sense of completion and fulfillment is already happening deep inside of them, but it could all indicate that maybe this is all over, like whatever just started, maybe it's already all over, and that's complete in itself, but that leaves the whole relationship completely redundant. So I felt obliged to say that, even though I don't feel that. I just felt like I had to say it. So let's have a look at the status of the relationship. Okay, well, this is, okay, I'm glad I saw some pentacles here. This could indicate stability. This, from my perspective, is your reader, Tarot Lumination, for you, Cancer, for July. The status of the relationship is like a sense of, this is not like blowing my mind away. It's like a very, very deeply felt, solid sense of equity, of balance, where you, Cancer, since this is your reading about you in your relationship with a significant other, it is very evident to you, dear Cancer, that the relationship has all the hallmarks of being very, very well balanced, that there's a tremendous amount of reciprocal love going on here, where there's a lot of giving from you to another and a lot of giving from another to you. And there's a lot of receiving from you of the energy of another, and a lot of receiving of energy of the other from you, to the point where it is in balance. And that sensation of balance is very, very stabilizing. It's understanding like how the laws of attraction work, in that as you give, so shall you receive. In other words, like let's say, Cancer, you've made a decision that you're just going to just completely offer everything that you have. It's just like, here, significant other, you can have it all. I have all this. I want all this. I deserve all this. I can tell because I'm in a relationship with you that this is fundamental to us. So why don't we just admit that kind of energy type of thing? And then this has to be understood and rationalized and conceived and integrated into their being. Okay. So let's just say that kind of stuff is happening. And this is happening with two very different people in their own way, where through their own mechanisms, through their own experience, it comes into a point of really, really good balance where, like, it's like you love taking care of each other. It's like in the context of relationship, it's forget the romanticism, forget the intellectualism, forget the fatedness of where are we coming from, where are we going for the other. Just focus on the purity and simplicity of love, and let's allow that once that is recognized, that it is an ingredient of the relationship, it can simplify things dramatically, where it's like, instead of relationships where you're like, hey, what can I get out of you? And hey, what can I get out of you? And hey, wait a minute, what are you trying to get out of me? And the other one's like, hey, what are you trying to get out of me? No. We're talking about, hold on, stay there a second. Stay there, let's see if I got it. I haven't done this with the other readings, but I felt I need to show it in this card, in this reading, because we do these readings from this perspective. So I just indicated by example, flapping those cards around, that this is your energy and the other. But the reading feels from Tarot Lumination perspective that you're actually relating in this manner, and you're both aware of it because you're lucky that you have the energy of the Two of Cups infusing the whole relationship. In other words, this part of the relationship is very, very healthy, where with the little Six of Discs at the center, at the core of the relationship, it's very, very much a clear understanding in very simple terms about the energy of giving and receiving and giving. In other words, hello, you. I love you. Hello, I'm still figuring this stuff out. Please let me know, what can I bring to this relationship for our benefit? Oh, well, let me think about that for a minute, and I'll get back to you. And you understand fundamentally that it's what can both parties bring to the relationship, because you're already both aware that there's tremendous potential for mutual empowerment, mutual self-empowerment of each other, and for the relationship itself, by honoring the relationship and conducting the energies through the relationship as opposed to directly to each other. So it's a very healthy approach, dear Cancer. It's very stabilizing. It gives, this doesn't necessarily indicate the locking it down kind of foundations, but it indicates a very strong awareness that the raw ingredients are there for something very beautiful, okay? Because it's very, very well balanced. Okay, let's see where this leads. We have no idea. Okay, appreciation. Again, locking it down with pentacles. Appreciation, value, and worth. It's, in other words, it's becoming evident in your relationship, Cancer, with a significant other, that the primary, the most essential, valuable ingredients are there. All right? It looks like it's still very new, very sweet, and very innocent, but it's already like everything anybody else could wish for. Like anyone else would be jealous to have this. And in the other, it's like, okay, well, this makes sense. It makes complete sense. And how that's going to affect me in my life, that's a whole other thing. We're still figuring that stuff out. But either way, everything is exactly as it should be. It's fully complete. So now where does that leave you in the context of the relationship? Well, it's a clear understanding that there's harmony and there's balance, and it's very, very, very even. And so that leads to deeper appreciation, where it's like both parties can now let's say you're moving on towards the end of the month, you're starting to realize, wow, we've really got something here. We've really got something truly valuable. And uh, it's respected, it's understood, and it's being expressed. In other words, even though you, dear Cancer, may be, bewildered and puzzled by what's going on with the other party and how they are conducting themselves in the relationship, there's still no question that it's still beautiful and blessed with love, and it's very empowering for both parties. Even if you're like puzzled and don't understand it, and this is just the other party doing what they do in their own way, and that's just fine. And then same thing again for the other party. They could be very puzzled by what's going on as well, but they also at the same time deeply appreciate and understand the value of the relationship and your participation in the relationship. So again, this is like adding up. So it's like an affirmation that yes, we're onto something good here. It's very evident in very tangible ways, and that leads to the momentum to keep going, because there's obviously a deep sense of mutual appreciation. But it's also a very strong indication that this is still very young, and it might feel fated, like one life is ending, another life is beginning. And it's like, so we're starting from scratch with a very balanced approach, it is going to be a work in progress, but it's a beautiful work. This is a work. This is the energy of what happens when people are creating a masterpiece. Okay, when they're creating a work of art, it's work. Okay, you just don't like look at the wall and just go spitting at it and all of a sudden there's a masterpiece. No, it takes work. It takes commitment, effort, skills, the ability to rest and then recuperate and start again. It requires the ability to be able to endure challenges. But it's very, very empowering because it's understood at a very kind of nuts and bolts level. Even though you, Cancer, might be all wooey up in the clouds, lovey-dovey, and they might be looking at things from a very different perspective. Either way, the relationship itself is beautiful. It's very substantial because the whole relationship is infused with the Two of Cups, and from a sense of the great beyond, that it's very, very empowering for both parties. In other words, the relationship itself is a vehicle for self-empowerment, not just for you, Cancer, but for the other. And it's just gonna be a work in progress. Okay, so I hope you get something out of that, Cancer. Please read for your sun, your moon, and rising. Squish it all together, make something out of it. What else do we say? Things are going to change big time at the end of July, going into Leo time. So anyway, hope you get something out of it. Please watch the extra video, the introduction and the behind the scenes. All right. Have a super July, dear Cancer. You're very, very lucky, by the way. You're very, very lucky. You're very, very lucky. You're very, very lucky. Very lucky. Bye.